Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to our channel, Mysterious Untold Books. In today's hyper-competitive business landscape, executives and managers constantly seek frameworks that can help them navigate complex strategic challenges. While modern business theory offers numerous approaches, one of the most enduring strategic frameworks comes from an ancient military treatise written over 2,500 years ago. This timeless philosophy provides a holistic approach to competition that transcends its military origins to offer profound insights for contemporary business leaders. The strategic principles outline present a comprehensive framework for gaining competitive advantage without destructive confrontation. At its core lies the paradoxical wisdom that the highest form of victory comes not from fighting, but from winning without fighting at all. By systematically identifying competitors' vulnerabilities, gathering superior intelligence, moving with decisive speed, shaping the competitive environment, and exercising character-based leadership, organizations can achieve market dominance while preserving resources and maintaining industry health. These principles challenge the Western predisposition toward direct confrontation, offering instead a nuanced approach that emphasizes intelligent positioning, subtle maneuvering, and psychological insight. Chapter 1. Win all without fighting. Capturing markets through strategic positioning. The principle of winning without fighting represents the pinnacle of strategic wisdom. Unlike the conventional Western approach that often glorifies head-to-head competition, this principle advocates capturing market share without destroying the industry's profitability. It recognizes that victory through direct price wars or resource-draining battles ultimately leaves everyone worse off, including the nominal winner. At its core, this principle rests on the understanding that the goal of business strategy is to achieve relative market dominance to ensure long-term survival and prosperity. This doesn't mean crushing competitors at any cost, but rather positioning oneself advantageously within the marketplace. The approach resembles the ancient game of Go, where players seek to control territory with minimal investment, rather than chess, which focuses on destroying the opponent's pieces. The implementation of this principle requires creative, indirect approaches that minimize competitive response. Research shows that subtle, less visible market moves are far less likely to provoke immediate retaliation than high-profile attacks. When competitors do notice an attack, they typically respond slowly due to organizational barriers, denial, and internal politics. This delayed response provides a critical window of opportunity. This approach manifests in various ways: creating new market segments, attacking niches that incumbents have neglected, or entering emerging geographic markets before competitors arrive. Southwest Airlines exemplifies this principle by creating a unique low-cost business model that major carriers initially ignored rather than directly challenging them on their own terms. The principle ultimately recognizes that sustainable competitive advantage comes not from destroying competitors, but from outmaneuvering them through superior positioning. Chapter 2. Avoid strength, attack weakness. Targeting competitive vulnerabilities. The principle of avoiding strength and attacking weakness represents the strategic cornerstone of efficient resource allocation. It advocates directing your efforts precisely where they will yield maximum impact with minimum resistance. This approach stands in stark contrast to the Western tendency toward frontal assaults and direct confrontation, which often wastes resources in wars of attrition. The underlying logic is compelling. Attacking competitors' weakness leverages your resources efficiently, while attacking strength squanders them. When Kmart attempted to challenge Walmart head-on with price cuts and store renovations, it failed because it attacked Walmart's greatest strength, its cost structure. Similarly, AT&T's expensive foray into the computer market against established players like IBM resulted in billions in losses because it relied on competitive imitation rather than exploiting weaknesses. This principle manifests through several practical approaches. First, identify and target vulnerable links in your competitor's value chain. If they excel in manufacturing but have weak distribution, attack there. Second, Consider targeting smaller, weaker competitors rather than industry leaders. Third, explore uncontested market spaces or underserved niches where competition is minimal. Fourth, recognize boundary points, areas where organizational responsibilities overlap, as natural weaknesses to exploit. Success requires identifying the Schwerpunkt, the critical point where applying pressure will create maximum impact. Southwest Airlines demonstrates this approach when opening new routes. Rather than tentative entry, they concentrate resources with intensive marketing followed by multiple daily flights, overwhelming competitors at precisely the right moment. Ultimately, this principle reminds us that in strategy, the path of least resistance often leads to the greatest success. Chapter 3: Deception and Foreknowledge: Mastering Market Intelligence. Superior intelligence and strategic deception form the foundation of competitive advantage. The principle of foreknowledge entails developing deep insight into your competition, your own organization, and the market terrain, not through mystical premonition, but through rigorous intelligence gathering and analysis. True competitive intelligence transcends superficial data collection. It requires understanding not just what competitors can do, but what they will do. This means penetrating beyond financial results and product specifications to comprehend their executives' mindsets, organizational culture, and decision-making patterns. When Hewlett-Packard launched a direct attack on IBM's as a 400 product line, they failed to anticipate IBM's swift, powerful response because they hadn't properly understood the new management team's aggressive posture. Equally important is self-knowledge, a clear-eyed assessment of your own organization's capabilities, strengths, and weaknesses. Companies like SKI Limited exemplify this through sophisticated information systems that provide real-time operational control and customer insights. Meanwhile, market terrain analysis involves understanding competitive dynamics, growth patterns, and industry forces that shape the battlefield. The complementary principle of deception protects your strategic intentions from competitive intelligence. By masking your true plans and creating uncertainty about where you'll strike next, you force competitors to spread their defenses thinly. As financial conglomerate Anson plc demonstrated in their takeover of SCM, strategic opacity prevents opponents from mounting effective resistance. The challenge lies in maintaining secrecy while meeting corporate transparency requirements, a balance that depends on your firm size, ownership structure, and industry context. Together, these dual principles create asymmetric advantage, clear vision of your competitive landscape, while obscuring your own movements, allowing you to strike where and when opponents least expect. Chapter 4: Speed and Preparation: Seizing Opportunities Decisively. Speed represents a critical competitive advantage in today's rapidly evolving business environment. Like water cascading down a mountainside, organizational speed creates momentum that overwhelms obstacles and transforms the competitive landscape. The principle of speed coupled with thorough preparation enables companies to capitalize on fleeting market opportunities before competitors can react. Speed delivers multiple strategic benefits. First, it serves as a resource multiplier. Companies like IBM's European PC operations demonstrated this by increasing output 50% while reducing staff by 30% through accelerated production processes. Second, speed allows exploitation of temporary market openings that would close if approached slowly, as Southwest Airlines proved by capturing 25% of new markets within days of entry. Third, speed generates psychological advantage through surprise and shock, disorienting competitors and paralyzing their decision-making. Finally, speed builds market momentum, allowing successful initiatives to gain unstoppable force. Achieving organizational speed requires systematic cycle time reduction across multiple dimensions. The most critical yet often overlooked is decision-making cycle time. How quickly information travels from the field to headquarters, decisions are made, and action follows. Companies must also optimize product development, manufacturing, distribution, and customer service cycles. General Motors' 9-year journey from concept to production for Saturn illustrates the competitive cost of sluggish decision processes. Paradoxically, speed requires meticulous preparation. Southwest Airlines extensively plans new route launches before executing with lightning quickness. Military organizations like the U.S. Army's National Training Center demonstrate how scenario planning and realistic simulation prepare organizations for rapid, effective action under pressure. These approaches develop organizational muscle memory that enables confident decisiveness when opportunities arise. The strategic leader understands that proper preparation doesn't slow response. It makes previously impossible speed achievable. Chapter 5. Character-Based Leadership. Building Organizational Strength. Character-based leadership forms the essential foundation upon which all other strategic principles rest. Unlike manipulative management techniques that focus on short-term compliance, authentic leadership draws on deeper qualities of character that inspire genuine commitment and extraordinary performance from the entire organization. The core leadership virtues include wisdom to discern the proper strategic path, sincerity that builds trust, humanity that recognizes the dignity of all stakeholders, courage to make difficult decisions, and discipline to maintain consistent standards. These character elements manifest through actions rather than words. Southwest Airlines CEO Herbert Kelleher exemplified this alignment when he backed his stated commitment to cost control by personally approving all purchases over $1,000, while reinforcing his employee-first philosophy by returning to the field quarterly to work alongside frontline staff. Effective leaders share both the triumphs and trials of their organizations. When Northwest Airlines CEO John Dasberg returned his $750,000 bonus during a period of 11% employee wage cuts, he demonstrated solidarity that built extraordinary trust. This contrasts sharply with executives who maintain lavish perks while implementing layoffs, creating destructive class divisions within their companies. The character-based leader motivates through multiple channels, providing material rewards, creating meaningful work, delegating authority within clear guidelines, and fostering pride in organizational accomplishments. By clearly articulating their intent and empowering teams to execute within defined boundaries, these leaders achieve both strategic alignment and operational flexibility. The German Army's Wagenführung concept, leadership guidance that enabled independent action aligned with command intent, offers a powerful model for today's dynamic business environment. Ultimately, character-based leadership creates organizations where people willingly commit their full capabilities to a shared purpose rather than merely complying with authority. Chapter 6. Integrated Strategy. Applying Sun-Tzu principles holistically. The true power of these strategic principles emerges when they are integrated into a coherent whole rather than applied piecemeal. Each principle reinforces and enables the others, creating a strategic system greater than the sum of its parts, like interwoven cords forming an unbreakable rope rather than isolated strands. The integration begins with identifying key markets and competitors to focus on, the essential first step in winning without fighting. This assessment must balance market opportunity against organizational capabilities to ensure strategic fit. With targets selected, the strategist methodically identifies competitive vulnerabilities while assessing their own strengths, creating a matrix of potential attack points. This analysis then informs wargaming exercises that simulate various competitive moves and countermoves, revealing which approaches offer the highest probability of success. The most promising attacks are then integrated into a coordinated strategy that shapes competitor behavior through both direct and indirect approaches. Like a master Go player, the strategist places strategic stones to control territory while limiting competitor options. This integrated approach requires both creative thinking to generate novel options and disciplined execution to implement them effectively. Throughout implementation, leaders must reinforce successful initiatives while rapidly abandoning failed approaches, regardless of prior investment. This requires both courage and clarity, qualities that emerge from character-based leadership. The process isn't purely analytical. It demands balancing rationality with intuition, discipline with creativity, and planning with adaptability. Companies that neglect this integrated approach risk the fate of Germany in two world wars. Tactical excellence without strategic coherence. While operational improvements are essential, they cannot compensate for fundamental strategic errors. The integrated application of these principles allows organizations to achieve strategic excellence while maintaining tactical rigor, the only path to sustainable competitive advantage. Thank you for listening. Audiobook by Mysterious Untold Books.